So, in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, you've got this incredible night of magical chaos, right? Well, eventually the party has to end. And Act 4, Scene 1, that's the moment. It's the morning after. The sun is coming up, the enchanted fog is lifting, and everyone has to deal with the bizarre and confusing fallout of it all.
And really, it all just boils down to one simple question, doesn't it? What happens when you wake up from the strangest night of your life? Seriously, how do you even begin to separate what was real from what was just a crazy dream? That is the exact challenge our characters are about to face.
Okay, so the scene kicks off at the absolute height of all this magical absurdity. We have the powerful fairy queen, Titania, completely under a spell, and this spell has made her hopelessly, ridiculously in love with a local weaver named Nick Bottom, who, and this is the important part, has been magically given the head of a donkey. Yep, you heard that right.
And this is where you just see the hilarious disconnect at the heart of the magic. I mean, look at this. Titania is all poetic and romantic, offering to stroke his cheeks and kiss his beautiful ears. But Bottom? Oh, he is completely embracing his new donkeyness. He has much more practical needs. He doesn't want poetry. He wants a head scratch, a bag of honey, and a good bundle of hay. It's just the perfect picture of how this magic makes the sublime crash right into the ridiculous.
And believe me, he is not shy about it. He has fully leaned into this new role as Lord Bottom. He's ordering Titania's immortal fairy attendants around like they're his personal servants. He's got Peaseblossom and Mustard Seed on scratching duty. He sends poor Cobweb on this life-or-death mission to get a honey bag from a bumblebee. The man is living his absolute best life, completely, blissfully unaware of how ridiculous the whole situation is.
So as they drift off to sleep, literally in each other's arms, Titania says this with 100% conviction. How I love you. I'm mad about you. This is the peak, the absolute high point of the enchantment. She's completely lost in this magical, nonsensical love. But this is the moment right before everything is about to change.
And who's going to change it? Well, none other than the architect of this whole mess, Oberon, the Fairy King. Turns out he's been watching this whole thing from the shadows, and now that he's finally gotten what he wants, he decides, okay, that's enough fun. Time to restore the natural order.
So you might be wondering, why the sudden change of heart? Well, it's pretty simple. His mission is complete. See, while Titania was busy being infatuated with her donkey-headed lover, Oberon convinced her to give him the changeling boy they were fighting over. So, basically, he won the argument. And now that he's won, he can afford to show a little mercy.
And he's surprisingly methodical about this whole cleanup operation. He lays out this very clear three-step plan. Step 1, release Titania. He's got an antidote flower to break her love spell. Step 2, restore Bottom. He orders his mischievous sidekick Puck to take off the donkey head. And Step 3, erase the memory. He's going to make sure all the mortals just remember this night as one big bizarre dream. And that antidote, man, it works instantly. Oberon wakes her up, and her very first words are just pure, stunned disbelief. I thought I was in love with an ass? The spell is just gone. Snapped, and her first thought is just total shocking confusion. I mean, talk about whiplash. This is a stunning reversal. Just a few moments ago, she was declaring she was mad about him. Now, she literally recoils in disgust. That enchanted love is replaced with pure natural revulsion. It just shows you how completely that magic had her in its grip. The 180 is immediate, and it is total. And just like that, the main conflict in the fairy world is over. Poof! The boy is secured, the spell is reversed, and Oberon and Titania are back together. They dance, and they turn their attention back to their royal duties. You know, like blessing the upcoming wedding of the mortal duke, Theseus. So as the fairies make their exit, the sun starts to rise. And there, on the forest floor, are our 4 young lovers, Lysander, Demetrius, Hermia, and Helena, still fast asleep. They have no idea they're about to wake up to a world that has been magically and permanently realigned. Okay, so here's the crucial part. Oberon's final bit of magic has basically fixed this entire romantic disaster. The spell on Lysander? Gone. So his true love for Hermia is back. But here's the twist. The spell on Demetrius stays. He's left enchanted, which makes his newfound love for Helena permanent. So after all that chaos and heartbreak, everyone is finally, magically, paired up with the right person. Wild, right? So how does Demetrius explain this sudden, massive change of heart? He puts it beautifully, actually. He says his love for Hermia has just melted like snow. He sees it now as just some childish thing that's gone. And his love for Helena, he feels like that's his true natural self returning. So for him, the magic has literally become his new reality.
And then, who should stumble upon them but Duke Theseus and his hunting party? He sees the four of them, all happily paired up, and he is so delighted by this resolution that he makes a royal decree right there on the spot. He completely overrules Hermia's furious father and declares, "Forget it, we're having a triple wedding. All three couples are getting married together today. It's awesome." The rigid law of Athens just gets swept aside for true love.
But even with this perfect, happy ending, the lovers are just confused. Deeply confused. They can't quite piece together what happened last night. It all feels so hazy and distant. You know, like when you wake up from a really vivid dream and you try to grab the details, but they just keep slipping away.
Yeah, Hermia really nails the feeling for all of them. She says it's like she's looking back at the night with double vision. Everything is just blurry. They don't know what was real and what wasn't. They've got these little fragments, the fighting, the chasing, the crazy love confessions, but it's all out of focus. The experience was real, but the memory? It already feels like a dream.
Which brings us to our final character. The lovers all head off to get married, and then Bottom wakes up, all alone. And you gotta remember, he's the only one who directly and consciously experienced the fairy world, and now, somehow, he has to make sense of it all.
So how does a guy like Bottom process something like that? Well, here's the amazing part. He doesn't even try. While the more educated lovers are trying to logically figure it all out, Bottom, the humble weaver, immediately gets it. He knows his experience was just beyond explanation. He says it would be impossible for anyone to say what it was. It just defies all logic, all language.
So what do you do? What do you do with an experience that words literally can't describe? You turn it into art. That's Bottom's answer. He decides the only way to even begin to capture this profound dream of his is to get his friend Peter Quince to write it down as a song, a ballad that he can perform for the Duke.
And he's going to call it Bottom's Dream because, as he says, it has no bottom. It's a fantastic pun, right? It's infinitely deep, mysterious, and totally impossible to fully grasp. And that really leaves us with a final fascinating thought, doesn't it? When we experience something so strange, so profound that logic just completely fails, is art maybe the only tool we have left to try and make sense of it all?